We hear about healthy fats all the time, but what if the real story isn't about eating more of them? What if it's all about getting the balance just right? Well, today, we're going to dive into the world of polyunsaturated fats and find that perfect sweet spot. I mean, it seems so simple, doesn't it? Just eat more healthy fats. But here's the thing, and this is true for almost everything in nutrition, the dose can make the poison or the medicine. So let's figure out exactly where that line is. And that brings us to what I like to call the healthy fat paradox. It's this fascinating idea of how a nutrient we're constantly told is good for us can actually start causing problems when things get out of balance. Look, we've all been there, right? That more is better trap. A little is good, so a lot must be great. But when it comes to these polyunsaturated fats, or PUFAs, as you'll hear them called, it's just not about quantity. It's really about quality and precision. We're talking about the right amounts from the right sources.
Okay, so to really get a handle on this whole balance thing, we need to meet the two main characters in our story, omega-3 and omega-6.
So what even are PUFAs? The easiest way to think about them is as essential fats. And when we say essential, we mean it literally. Our bodies absolutely need them to work properly, but they can't make them. That means we have to get them from the food we eat. No other way around it.
And this is where it gets really interesting. It's kind of like a tale of two fats. On one side, you have omega-6s. They're everywhere, in vegetable oils, nuts, seeds. A little bit is great, but in excess, they can actually start promoting inflammation. And then you have the other side, the anti-inflammatory omega-3s. These guys are much, much harder to find in a typical modern diet. And that imbalance, that's the real root of the problem we're talking about. Now, let's be super clear, omega-6 fats are not the bad guy here. Not at all. We absolutely need them, and they're in plenty of healthy foods like nuts and seeds. The real issue is just how much of them we're getting. They're just so overabundant, pumped into countless processed foods, especially as these refined vegetable oils.
Okay, so let's talk about the other side of the scale, the omega-3s. The best plant-based sources are pretty specific, and you'll want to remember these: flaxseed, chia seeds, and walnuts. Here's a super practical goal for you. Just aim for 1 to 2 tablespoons of ground flax or chia seeds every day. Seriously, it's such a small change, but it can have a huge impact on getting your balance right. And this brings us right to the heart of the matter, the central conflict, if you will. It's not about one fat being good and the other being bad. It's all about what happens when that super delicate ratio between them gets thrown completely out of whack. So, is there a magic number? You bet. Researchers point to an ideal ratio of about 4 parts omega-6 to 1 part omega-3, 4 to 1. That ratio seems to be the sweet spot for keeping inflammatory processes in check. So let's burn that into our brains. 4 to 1. That's the goal. Okay, so remember that 4 to 1 target? Well, get ready for this. The typical Western diet serves up a ratio that's closer to 15 to 1. And honestly, in some cases, it's even higher than that. I mean, think about it. We're eating way, way more omega-6 and nowhere near enough omega-3 for what our bodies are actually designed to handle. It's that huge gap where things can start to go wrong. So what actually happens when that ratio is so far off? Well, there are a few potential downsides to think about. First up is oxidative stress. These fats are kind of fragile, and they can break down easily, especially with heat, creating these damaging things called free radicals. Second, that fatty acid imbalance we talked about. A high omega-6 ratio can directly signal your body to ramp up inflammation. Third is just plain old excess calories. Fats are super dense in calories, and oils make it incredibly easy to overdo it without even realizing. And finally, you've got all those refined oils hiding in processed foods, which means we often end up eating way more than we have any idea. Okay, so we've definitely painted a picture of the problem, but now for the good part. What does the solution actually look like? Let's dig into some specific numbers so we can figure out how to find that sweet spot for ourselves. So, how much are we actually talking about here? Well, major health organizations like the World Health Organization suggest that these polyunsaturated fats should make up somewhere around 6 to 11% of our total daily calories. It's definitely a meaningful slice of the pie, but it's for sure not meant to be the main course. Okay, but what does 6 to 11% even mean in the real world? Let's make it concrete. If you're eating, say, around 1,500 calories a day, that translates to about 10 to 18 grams of total PUFAs. And look at the breakdown here. The target for omega-3 is just about 1.5 to 3 grams.
See, that's totally doable with that daily scoop of flax or chia we were talking about earlier. And now for my favorite part, fixing this imbalance. It doesn't require you to carry around a calculator or track every single gram of fat. Nope. The solution is actually wonderfully simple. It's all about focusing on the quality of your food. It really boils down to a simple 3-step game plan. First, just build your meals around whole foods. Think high-fiber, starch-based stuff. Second, make a conscious effort to cut back on added oils, especially from fried foods and all that processed stuff. And third, make it a habit to add a rich source of omega-3s every single day. I love this idea. It's a strategy of displacement. You're not just taking things away, you're crowding out the excess by adding in the essential. You know, there's a quote from the source material that just sums this all up perfectly. The goal is adequate intake, balanced ratios, and whole food sources. See? It's not about cutting out fats entirely. It's about hitting 3 key goals: getting enough of what you need, getting that ratio right, and getting it all from whole foods whenever you can. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that balance is everything. It's not about just piling on more good fats. It's about shifting that all-important ratio. So the question I want to leave you with is this. What's one small change, just one little thing, that you can do today to start bringing your body back into that healthy balance?